Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of StoneBlock 4. And today is going to be kind of interesting. So in today's episode, we are going to try and see if we could capture the mighty Ender Chicken and bring him back to the compact machine. Now, a little bit of what I did off cameras was to set this up. So if we jump on in here, you could see right off the bat that we have this set up. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but we are going to find out. And let me reset my spawn point. All right. So I have no idea if this is going to work. I hope it does, but everything here is upgraded. The black lens is in here, ready to go. These are soon to be powered as soon as I grab a point from my system real quick and slap that down right here. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. That's hello. Let's go home real quick. And I have a feeling the reason why it's like that. No, it's interesting. Okay, so these don't work. That's kind of unfortunate. I was hoping that would work. I mean, we could try again. I'm not too sure what happened. So let me go ahead and grab this, bind this to this spot, slap that down. Let's see if we could go back. And this is not back. Okay, so I need to go back to the Mighty Chicken arena. And I might as well go ahead and get that started. So I do have the egg here, which I just realized I could put into the replicate mod. So let me do that first. So I don't need to do a bunch. I could just craft these now through the replicate mod. Awesome. Okay, so let's go on back. There we go. And let's put this back in here. Okay, can I take it back out? Ooh, I can. So what I want to do is I'll spawn the chicken, shrink it, because there's a couple things I want to try. I want to see if I could capture it with the glass bottle. I just found out that this method still works on mobs. I just don't know if it will work on the mighty chicken. And if it doesn't, then I will use the teleport. So I'm just kind of curious on this. So let's give it a try. Okay, so it looks like the personal shrinking device does not work. That's fine. Need to go back. There we go. Oh. Okay, so that did not go as planned. Because my stasis chambers are not on. Okay, let's try and do this again. But let me turn off my power drain here. I completely forgot I had this going. Because I wanted to make sure I had more than enough energy in my system. Yeah. Okay. So I think off of the first failure, I figured out what I need to do. So before we go any further, let me grab another Mighty Ender Chicken here. That was unfortunate. I don't think I need the chicken stick, but now I need to set this back up. So let me go ahead and jump from here, and I will bring you back when I'm about to spawn the chicken one more time. Alright, and I am back. So I got everything fixed back in the compact machine, and so there's a split second where this needs to work, and I'm hoping I could be quick enough for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the egg in, and as soon as I do, and then I'm going to put the dislocator in, and it should send the small version of the chicken over to the compact machine. I'm hoping that's how this works. If attempt number 2 does not work, then I will need to see what I am doing wrong. Alright, so let's give this a go. Here we go. Okay, so attempt number 3. I am horrible at this. So the mistake that I did was I shift clicked the dislocator, which teleports you to the spot. I need to not do that. So I need to put Ender Chicken in, put dislocator in, and just cross my fingers. So attempt number 3. Here we go. I think that worked. The chicken is not moving. Why can't I get into this? Okay, chicken is here, but I can't seem to get anything there. Can I put at least a tank on there? Okay. We're gonna have to do this again. Depth is 1. Okay, so this should pick it up. We're gonna have to do another attempt at this because I messed up here. Alright, let's try and do this again then. So I will place you there. You already have that, so that's fine. I have that. Alright, so let's head back. Luckily it's not far. So I don't remember if this is going to be attempt number 4 or 5. But I am absolutely horrible at this. Okay, so that's still active, so I think... No, let's just go ahead and turn that off. Alright, attempt number 2. Okay, well, attempt number 5. Can I do ender lead? No. And the jumbo tank is still empty. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I need to place it 1 block above the chicken. Alright folks, I'm going to cut away. I'm going to redo this properly and I'll bring you guys right back once I get this situated. I'm not going to have you guys watch me struggle to try and get the mighty ender chicken here to be milked. So attempt number 6 will hopefully be the final one, but we'll see. Anyways, I will see you guys in a second. Alright, and I am back with you. As you can see here, we do finally have Molten Chaos coming in. My lord, was that obnoxious. So attempt number 6 worked perfectly. As you can see, I did move everything down so that it's right above the Chaos Chicken. That was just nothing but a headache. Let me see if I could get in here and get this dislocator. Alright, so we have Molten Chaos coming in, which is perfect because now we can set up the... Actually, do we need to set up? No, we don't even need to set up anything else other than this. And the casting table. So if we wanted to, we could actually get some more pipe here. Now let me see what cast it takes to make the shard, the nugget cast. I don't know if I have the nugget cast. I don't. Let's see if I can make the other ones. No, it looks like just this one. Okay. So a little cheap trick that we can do is we could grab this, grab a nugget, slap that down. And there we have it. We have the cast for it now. So now all we got to do is just slap that in. We'll get a logistical pipe. And don't worry, it's not going to stay like this. Matter of fact, I will have this be put into my system. So barrel. And there we go. We now have Tiny Chaos Shard Fragments. Let's go ahead and grab those. There's that quest done. Now we just need to scale it up a bit. And there's that quest as well. Perfect. And now I have this force loaded. So we could leave and let this build up over time while we go handle something else. And that something else is trying to figure out the rest of this quest line. So we need to get to where it says black holes. And in order to do the black hole, we need a small chaos fragment and an antimatter pellet, which means we need to do antimatter, which requires polonium, which requires the neutron activator with nuclear waste and polonium, and a temperature greater than 420 degrees Celsius. So now that we have the mighty ender chicken being milked in our compact machine, we now need to set up 2 things. We need to set up fissile fuel and the Fissile Reactor, plus we need to set up the Particle Accelerator. So what I'm going to do, because it's a lot of stuff, and I'm going to start with the Fissile Reactor, I'm going to go ahead and cut away, get everything situated so that we have the Fissile Reactor up and running. I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of. At the same time, I'm going to set up the system to make HDPE sheets. And then also I'm going to look into getting everything needed so that we could set up the Particle Accelerator. I will get everything situated. However, when it comes to the Particle Accelerator, that's when I will bring you guys back for when we're going to set that up. Because I've never done it before, never touched it before. I have no idea what I need, what I'm gonna need, or what to do. So this will be a learning experience, and hopefully whatever I figure out will help you guys as well. So anyways, with the power of YouTube magic, I will see you guys in 2 seconds. All right, and just like that, we are back. And so I did a lot more than just get the things needed for the Particle Accelerator. I will tell you, I did get the things needed for the Particle Accelerator, but also let me flip around my camera. I also set up the Fissile Reactor and a turbine, and also got the isotopic centrifuges. They are full with polonium right now. I did make some polonium pellets, but other than that, I mean, I have everything here. Everything's turned off. The Fissile Reactor is turned off. This was kind of a pain to keep full with water, seeing that we don't have, you know, like the eternal water block from EvilCraft or the ID water inputs and exports and such. So I had to find a different way. And what I did was I have this little setup here all the way around. So what this is a storage bus going into a input port, and then I have an extended IO port with the Infinity water cells, and then attached to that I have the super dense energy cell, which attached to that I have the energy acceptor with the point attached so that everything gets the power. And I have these all the way around just so that it could keep up with the water demand. So as you can see here, I got quite a bit, and this was working extremely well. The turbine wasn't needed necessarily, but I mean, I just used it to make sure, you know, I could at least steal some of the power and put it into my system. So that wasn't too bad. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump on out here. And I did some more work to work on getting things needed for the Particle Accelerator, which you can see here in my inventory. I have everything that was showing in the guide here, and I was kind of curious on where I should put this. And I was either thinking up here, maybe even down there, like right in the center. I could probably do that. Matter of fact, I think I will do that, because that will keep us in the same dimension, which then I won't have to make another quantum ring or anything like that. So let's pop on down there and let's set this up so that it all just sits right here and it's perfectly spaced out. Okay, it is kind of on the small side, but I mean, that's okay. I'm not too worried about that, because again, I've never built this before, so this is going to be quite interesting. And it looks like the corners don't matter, so I'm going to leave the cobblestone in for now. So in the picture, there were 3 of these on each side. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and same thing with this side. Okay, this one, it looks like it was something like this. I'll have to confirm when unless there is another one, because I don't know how these corners are being connected. Okay, so it looks like you could right click these. Very interesting. Let me place this down this way. Oh, I see. Okay. So these need to go in the direction where the 3 prongs sit out, just so that the corners could connect properly. So like that. Okay. Now that we got that part set up, it looks like 2 of these sit on either, like on one side, but on either side of the linear motor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and put these right here. Interesting. So I will look up on a way to automate this if it's possible, but I think right now I will just do a manual setup just to kind of get familiar with how this works. And then once done there, we look back at the picture. This sits in the middle, and this has a capacitor, 2 capacitor tier 8 add-ons, and then an efficiency speed add-on. So let me go ahead and place this guy down. So now that is all done, we also need the advanced targeting or target designator, which is something we don't have just yet. So let me go ahead and make that now. All right, so I had to do a couple of changes. So apparently when you use the advanced targeting or advanced target designator on the particle accelerator, the accelerator magnetic field has to be on the same Y level as the particle accelerator. If not, then it won't link properly. So I had to drop this down one, so I kind of busted out the floor here, but not too big of a problem. Maybe later on I could probably just bump all this up. Shouldn't be too bad. And then also these particle accelerator linear motors need power, so I went around and I gave each set its own power. So everything here is looking okay. The only problem is this is not, this does not have power, and I'm wondering if it needs it or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just try and slap some power on this just in case, and I'll let that fill up real quick. So the thing that we need right now, if we go back to the quest line here, is we need plutonium dust. And in order to get plutonium dust, we need uranium dust and fluxite in the particle accelerators. So since we have 2, I'm guessing that we have to put uranium in one and fluxite in the other. So let me see, do I have uranium dust? I don't, but that's an easy fix to do. Throw this through our crusher. Now we should be able to make uranium dust quite easily, actually. It does not have a replication value, so that is perfectly fine. And then fluxite, I had to set that back up because I was running extremely low, just so I have ample fluxite and I don't have to really worry about it. I did set up kind of a quick and dirty automation for majority of the Ortec. So anything that we may need, we should be able to just request it and it will go through and craft everything. All right, so let's head back down. So let me grab some fluxite. I already have the uranium dust. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the dust in here and the fluxite in here. Okay, I'm gonna take those out because it looks like it's getting stuck right here. And I'm wondering if I do need those pipes. Let me go Ortec pipe. I don't know if that's what's needed. Let me take a look again at the diagram here. Okay, let me take a look into this because I'm doing something wrong and I just know it. So yeah, I will be right back with you guys. Let me dig a little bit deeper into this. Okay, after doing some research, there was another item that I was kind of missing, something that would be kind of crucial to this, and it would be this thing, the Particle Accelerator Speed Sensor, which, looking into this, actually sends a redstone signal, which is why I have a dropper here. Because what this will do is it will act kind of like a clock, and it will send a signal, which then the dropper will push the item into the Particle Accelerator. Then also what you want to do is link the main particle accelerator with the sensor so it can see the speed. So once the item that gets injected in first reaches the speed, this will trigger the dropper to push the item so that the item could collide with it and make what we need. let's see if I have this set up right, and hopefully I have enough power to keep this running smoothly. So we have the fluxite in here. Let me grab some more uranium dust, and here we go. Okay, so that did not work. Boy, did that destroy a lot of blocks over there. I'm not sure how far that went. Luckily, I'm not doing it up there where a lot of my important stuff is at, but you can see the destructive power that this has, which I would highly recommend not doing this in here. I would actually kind of recommend doing this in a compact machine just for this pure example right here. So yeah, let me fill all this in real quick and get this fixed. There we go. Luckily it doesn't destroy any of the blocks, it just breaks them as far as I could see. I already had one misfire, so that did not work. However, it did push in. So I'm gonna try auto and see if auto works better. And hopefully this will work. I'm just gonna rebind these real quick just to be on the safe side. All right, let's try that again. I'm just gonna do one for now. And it broke the blocks again. Okay, what are we missing here? Because it is shooting. I'm not seeing why it's doing this. Let me double check everything here. Okay, let's try this again. I'll just do one dust again. Okay, let's try that again. I changed a little bit here. I don't know if this would work. Actually, let me redo this. I was getting an error on this one, so I broke it and placed it back down. And I think it's now working because the error is no longer inside the Particle Accelerator. So let's try this again. I will do with one item. Still not working. I'm not quite sure why, but we are making a massive tunnel as we try and figure this out. I'm not sure how far that is so far, but it's not wanting to collide. So let me open up the Oracle page again and see what I'm missing. Okay, let's see if this works, or if we end up making a deeper hole. And one. There we go, that was promising. Where does it go? There it is. Okay, so it looks like if we set it up so it goes into a counterclockwise motion for the main particle, and then the second particle accelerator, we send it in the opposite direction, so in a clockwise motion, when they collide, it will actually make the item. That worked out great, and we have plutonium dust. So let me go ahead and let this run through the rest of this dust and fluxite that I have, and I will bring you guys right back. Okay, so after some runs, I have very jankily automated the process of plutonium dust through the particle accelerator. So now all I have to do is just request it, and it will come down here. Now this will go for pretty much anything that I want to put through the particle accelerator. All I have to do is just replace this one oak drawer with a chest or a barrel, and just add to the allow list. for the items on where I need them to go. So, you know, usually the main item will go to the Particle Accelerator, and the item that it needs to collide with will go to the dropper, and it will come through here. Now, the only thing that I would have to change, depending on the craft that I want to do, is the Particle Accelerator speed sensor. However, I'm wondering if the auto mode would work for that. So it could be completely automated. But as you can see, it's working through everything, and it's not fast. It can be, but it's not fast. And I don't want to mess with this any further. I just want to leave it as is. I think this is perfect. And I don't think we need this outside of just the uranium or the plutonium dust. I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm going to see about completing the rest of the quests here. So let's go back up to the main floor. And let's take a look and see what else needs to be done. So we need to get the small plutonium pellets, which is the plutonium pellet, which is through the assembler, with the, let me see. What recipe did I choose for this? They're all about the same, but I might go with the Dirtium because you get more out of that. Let me see which one I put in here. This is with the nickel. I'm going to change this and do this one because you get more out of it and it's the same time. So let's see if we could go ahead and craft one of these plutonium pellets and start. Okay, we see it's making the Dirtium, which is now getting put over here, and there we go. We have the plutonium pellets. So let's grab one out just in case. Okay, and let's break it down. There we go. We now have these small plutonium pellets, and that completes that first quest. Wow, that was massive. And it looks like for some reason this didn't get picked up. That shouldn't be too big of a problem. I'll just make another one. All right, and there we go. There's the accelerator sensor, and that's that was loud. And that's the quest line for Ortec fully completed, except for the optional quests, which I'm not going to really worry about. Let's go ahead and finish this out, get some of that money, and let's head back over here. So the Neutron collector requires everything here. So let me go ahead and get rid of some of this. I could go ahead and put that into my system, that and that. And let's see if we could make a crafting pattern for this. Okay, so we made the pattern for it. So let's go ahead and see if we can request it. And let's see if we can build it. Okay, there we go. So I had to fix my steel sheet issue. It looked like it was, I thought it was osmium in the compressor to turn it into a steel plate, but it's actually hydrogen, which I don't have. I don't have hydrogen. But yeah, so now we were able to successfully make the neutron collector. Let's go ahead and grab that. What else do we need? And the neutronium ingot is the next thing that we need to look at, which is 9 of these bad boys put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preemptively make these into patterns. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this guy down right over here. And what it does is it just automatically collects the neutrons out of the air, and it creates the neutron. I believe it's the neutron pile that it creates. And then when you get enough of that, you could turn it into the nuggets. And then when you get enough of the nuggets, you could turn it into the ingots. So this is going to take a little bit of time. I don't know if time winding it speeds this up. Oh, it does. It definitely does. Okay. So while that's doing its thing, I'm gonna grab an import, some acceleration cards, and a cable, and I'm gonna toss this down right here just like so. And now we should be having the Neutron Piles into our system, and we sure do. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that build up for a little bit, and I will bring you guys right back. Alright, and I'm back. And as you can see, with a little bit of AFK, I was able to get 142 of these Neutron Piles. So let's continue with the quest line here and getting the ingot. So let's go ahead and request one of these, and that was quick. There we go. Okay, let's move on to the Neutron Activator. So we need Whisper Glass, Reactor Heat Vent, Reactor Neutron Reflector, and Carbon Plated Block. Alright, that's quite a bit of stuff. Let's see what we can do here. So the Carbon Plated, we already have that, and I think we needed 28 of these. Let's go ahead and request that. The Whisper Glass is interesting. Let's go ahead and get that on an autocraft. The Reactor Neutron Reflector we already should have as an autocraft, which we do. Go ahead and make one of those. And then the Heat Vent is another one that we need to set up, which doesn't look too bad either. Okay, so there's that. Let's grab one of these. The Whisper Glass and the Carbon Plating. Okay, so the only thing I don't have yet is the Neutron Activator, so I'll need to make that as well. Bronze plates and the HDPE sheets, which we have passively being made. The bronze plate, I will go ahead and just make those. Actually, I could probably do that right now. Yeah. Bronze, breakdown. Bronze, let me break down some of these blocks into the ingots. Okay, there we go. Now we can make the rest of them. There we go. And then we just need to throw this into our World Engine Autocrafter, which we're running extremely dangerous to running out of room here. We got that in, so let me go ahead and request that. Then what else did we need? And an Empowered Void Crystal Block, which we should be able to make. Actually, we have a bunch of them. Perfect. So we got everything there. Let me grab out this guy right here as well. So we'll do that. I see. So we could push certain things in here, and it looks like the next step is to get the antimatter and an SPS casing, which we can't quite get until we get the polonium pellets, which hopefully we should be able to get with the Neutron Activator here. And we're just almost close. So let me go ahead and get this multi-block set up and configured to be automated so that we could just request crafts, and I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, and I am back. So I was going to do a pattern, but then I realized there was no point. So the way I did this was I set this up to where it's just pushing nuclear waste to create polonium. I have a resistive heater here to help with the temperature. I have an export bus, which is just pushing nuclear waste. Then I have a ultimate pressurized tube pushing into pulling into a radioactive waste barrel to hold the polonium, which is then capped off with a storage bus so that my system can see it. So in order to convert the nuclear waste over into the polonium, you need to add in the Neutron Piles, and then it will activate. And there's 15 cores, so it goes pretty quick. And then to have the tube work to pull out, you just basically click on the config button here, then you click on the output source, so the polonium, wherever that's going to be at, and then you click on where you want it to output, and then you make sure you enable auto output. And that's pretty much it. So this is now creating polonium whenever I add in the piles. So that means we can now send, matter of fact, let's see if I could do it here. Personal shrink device, or mechanism cube. This is where I have my HDPE sheets being made. Just this little lineup. Not too bad. Okay, so that has plutonium in it, so I'm going to need another pressurized reaction chamber. There we go. Then what I would like to do is just kind of slap it down about right here. I like to clear all the sides, and then we'll get import export bus, and this is going to be for polonium, as this one was for polonium and fluorite, which I need to add in as well. Same with the water. So we'll go ahead and dump the water in, do the fluorite dust, and then grab this for the Fe, and then crafting card and acceleration cards. Go ahead and get some more of this red cable. Now before I do that, I want to tie this into this line here. Then we could go ahead and configure this. So chemical is going to be output and input here. Item will be input, energy also, and fluid. Actually, item will be input, output, auto reject. So as soon as I connect this up, this should be good to go. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. We got the polonium in here, we got the water, and now the fluorite. Now to kind of help with all this, I like to change this to round robin, and it keeps things just in balance with all the items and the fluids and chemicals. And now we're making polonium pellets. There they are. Yeah. Did I ever touch one of these? No, I did not. All right, so we got that all situated. Now what we need to do is start working on the antimatter, which we need to make an SPS, which I think I have enough room right over here, or even like right here, to make the SPS. So let's go ahead and just grab one of these real quick. Let me clear out the rest of my, there we go. SPS casing. Go ahead and just make one of these. So we go to the mechanism tab. We already did this. Looks like the only thing I was missing is holding the fissile casings, which is easy. There we go. Same with the turbine. It looks like I was missing some of the smaller things. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, here we go. So we need 40 of the casings, which gives us 20. We already have the glass, so we'll need the supercharged coil, the 3 ports, and 40 of these casings, which we already made 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make these into an autocraft. There's one, there's another, and then this guy along with the standard laser. So I'm gonna go ahead and request 3 of these. Oh, I need more polonium. It looks like we're out. So what I'm gonna do is, once again, cut away, get everything I need for the SPS, and I'll bring you back when we build it. All right, and after some time, I was finally able to get everything needed for the SPS. There we go. And we also completed that quest as well. So let's head back up over here. So this is where we need to get the antimatter pellet. So we basically need to build this out. I think I'm only going to need 2 for this because I only have 1 laser. So the way I like to do this, I start with the bottom. It is a 3x3 with extended sides, which turns it into a fat plus sign, just like that. And then we go around and we cap off the edges, just like so. And then we just rinse and repeat. We do the same thing on all 4 sides, including the top, until the SPS is created. Now I'm gonna request or get the rest of these here. Gives us more casings. And there we have it. We have the SPS fully built. So now we just need to add in another port and also the laser on the inside. Just like that. And the port, actually we're gonna need all 3 ports because we need an input, an output, and then 1 for the energy. And there we go. So let me grab a point. And I'm going to limit this to 2 million FE. Okay, so now I got the wireless connector connected up, got the point connected. Now we need to feed this with stuff to make the antimatter. We see here that it's the polonium, which we should be able to get plenty of. All I need to do is just turn it off over here so that it doesn't go into this machine anymore, and instead put it in over here. So let me grab an export bus. Nope, not that one. Export bus. Put that on right here. Grab the polonium so I can filter it. Get some acceleration cards. Put that there. Now once that makes antimatter from the polonium, what happens is the polonium will come in here. It will then convert over to the antimatter. Then we'll have to put it through a crystallizer. The chemical crystallizer is what we're going to need. I'll go ahead and make that real quick. And I'm going to close out all of that. And then I get a tube. Put that down here. And then for the chemicals, input from the top. For the items, it's going to be output to the side, because we're going to get an import bus. Tap that with all the acceleration cards. Everything else can now go away. Now we just need cable, and I'll use red for this. So for right now, I'm going to turn this off because I want it to build up inside the SPS. So as soon as I hook this up, it will take out the remaining polonium and push it into here. As you can see, it is filling this up and it is now processing it over to antimatter. We need 1,000 millibuckets of antimatter to make one antimatter pellet. So we're going to let this run. And in the meantime, we are going to head out and keep pumping this full of the Neutron Piles. And you can see here we are actually getting a good amount, and I'll show you what I kind of did to fix that. And what I'm going to do is put that in here. Actually, that should automatically run for us. So this will remain full as this works through the nuclear waste. This will go in here, which then will get pushed into the SPS. So over here, what I did was I made 3 more of these neutron collectors, and I set up an advanced clicker from Just Ire's Things. Set up the boundary box to highlight all 4 of these, and I put in an advanced time wand inside with the sneak click and the right click and target blocks, and of course deny list is on, and the speed tick is at 1. So this basically will just time wand those 4 machines constantly, and that's how we are building these up super quick. But now I could go ahead and turn this off because this is no longer needing that much. Now once we get the ability to add in the dark matter block and the void container, we'll be able to make the Neutronium Chicken. I have everything needed for it. We're just missing those upgrades for the world engine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut away here, and I'll bring you back once we get antimatter. Alright, and I'm bringing you guys back. We almost have 1,000 millibuckets of antimatter, and there it is. So let's go ahead and turn this back on for the chemicals and set this to pulp. There we go. Did it make it already? That was quick if it did. Wow, it did. Okay. And there we go. We now have antimatter. Perfect. So let's go ahead and chalk that quest off real quick. And now let's look at the black hole. So the black hole requires a particle collision of 15,000 joules, which is a small chaos fragment and an antimatter pellet. So we only have 1 try at this right now. I'm going to let this continue to run and continue to build up antimatter. And we are going to go and try our hands at getting this black hole first try. Kind of nervous on this, but let's change this to 15,000. Okay. And I will throw this guy in here. Let me get a small fragment. How are we doing on power? I don't remember how much power we got. Before I do this, let me make sure I have enough to sustain this. Because this should be 2 million per row. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 times 2. So that's 26. Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. Okay, let's head back down. And here we go. That was quick. 16,000, so it did it perfectly. And it's in our system. Black hole. There it is. Oh, okay. So let's bring this to our inventory. There we go. So we now have the black hole. So if you let a small chaos shard collide, yep. And we get a little totally harmless item version of the black hole. We'll plop down if you pick it up. Let's play a guessing game. Okay, interesting. So the dark matter block, that's super simple. We have those in the replication mod. So now we just need to make the void container, which requires awakened draconium nuggets, a dark zirconium gem, and 3 dark matters with the black hole. That is not bad at all. We could easily get all these. Go ahead and get the replication mod started on that. Should be done here any moment. There it is. And there is the void container. Let's get one more dark matter block for the quest. Boom. And we got another star chicken. That's funny. That is hilarious, actually. So now we have two of those. Okay, so that is a gear quest. So that is something that we could go and talk to the guy back at spawn, which I believe it's the guidance. No, it's not going to be the guidance. Sorry. That's going to be Radiance. So let's go talk to Radiance real quick, which I believe he's in the Fractured Void. And right over here. Nice. All right. So now that we are done with that, we could do this since we already spoke to him. And then let's go ahead and submit these and get our world engine upgraded. Now this upgrade is going to open up a lot of things for us, which is actually the chickens that we need to do. So there we go. We now have the void container and dark matter block. So I want to try and make the neutronium chicken. I already have everything needed for it. So let's see if we can make this. So it brought the meat over. Where's... Oh, I don't have the... Hold on. Very interesting. Okay, let me cancel this, dump the meat, and let me double check exactly what I need. So temperature 500 and up, which we have 2K, so that's not a problem. The power we could do, the meat we can do. So let's take a look. So yeah, heavy core, awakened feathers, a tier 9 seed, the 4 blocks. And what else do we need? That's it. Interesting. So let me grab a bucket here of meat. There we go. For some reason it didn't want to accept the first time, which is kind of weird. But it is now running the for the neutronium chicken. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do the awakened draconium chicken. I should have the stuff needed for that. And then we'll try and get the rest of these chickens as well. So now I just need to complete the major world engine upgrade for the tier 8 energy core, which requires a ton of draconium blocks and awakened draconium. We could definitely do the draconium blocks now. And then once we get the draconium chicken, that'll just become that much easier. And there's the neutronium chicken. So let me go get him all situated. Now, once I get them all trained up and I get the Awakened Draconium Chicken trained up and possibly the Chaos Chicken, I'll bring you guys right back just so you guys aren't having to wait for me to do all this. It is kind of going to take some time. So anyways, I will be right back with the chickens. All right, and just like that, we now have the Neutronium Chicken, Chaos Chicken, and the Awakened Draconium Chicken. I did get them all up to level 128, and I'm going to go ahead and slap them on in here. Perfect. All right, let's go take a look. Oh, that's coming in nice and quickly. I like that. I like that a lot. So that means we could actually get rid of the mighty Ender Chicken, since we no longer need to milk the chicken. This is going really well. And for the Awakened Draconium, that's coming in super quick. I'm actually excited about that, which means we could come back over here. Whoa, a little too fast. And take out this pattern. We could actually take out these patterns as well. We can come back over. What I do want to do is the Neutronium Chicken. Since now we have that going, I want to see if I could craft this, because we're going to need one more, and that's for the Antimatter Chicken. Because if you see over here, the Antimatter Chicken requires the antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer, that's a name, in order to turn the Neutronium Chicken into the Antimatter Chicken. Oy. Okay, so this requires 10,000 buckets of antimatter and the Neutronium Chicken. So this will be our final chicken to get. It will take some time because 10,000 buckets or millibuckets is a lot. There's quite a bit, which means I will have to let that run. So it shouldn't be too bad, but at the same time, it will take quite a bit of time. Let's see what it requires to actually craft this item. It requires 2 antimatter pellets. Interesting. Okay, so we did get our second Neutronium Chicken, so that is out of the way. Let me go ahead and jump back into our mechanism box, because I need to reconnect our pipe here so we could get that one final antimatter, which I believe we just did. And then I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this so that it could build up in here. So now for the antimatter, we have the one. Did I have to? Oh, I had to use it for that. Okay, so we need to build up one more antimatter. Not a problem. Great. So things are going good. So let me go ahead and now make a new craft, which is the Draconium Block craft. Throw that in there. And I'm going to turn this back on. This should be able to finish off that quest, which will then ultimately finish off tier 5 quest line. And then we need 32 energy core stabilizers. There it is. Oh, we got the world breaker at the end. Jeez. They could have given this to me so long ago. I would have absolutely loved to have this during my playthrough. Okay, so let's go and talk to Chaos back in the void. And he's right over here. And let's complete. Now we have a quest to meet Infinity, which opened up right down here. Pretty good, pretty good. But before we do that, let's go ahead and submit all of these blocks and assemble the rest of our... Oh, that looks so good. That looks so good. Oh, wow, that is massive. That looks so good. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Infinity back at the void. All right, let's listen to see what this echo has to say.
You have heard whispers of infinity from the echoes, but they grasp only fragments. The work's simulations can imitate knowledge, yet they cannot comprehend the truth behind it. Infinity is both the beginning and the end. Creation and collapse intertwined. Do not fear what you cannot fully grasp. You need not understand infinity to wield its power. You need only follow the path I will reveal, for I have walked it countless times. Begin by compressing matter into distinct singularities, each embodying a separate aspect. Your world engine will then combine them into a single infinity singularity, the catalyst for creation itself. From it, you may forge the Infinity Ingot, an alloy that contains the very essence of being. Once you have gathered 9 of these alloys, shape them into a block and place it alongside 2 reactor neutron reflectors to shield your world engine from collapse. Only then will you unlock the final world engine upgrade.
Wow. All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's see what we need. So singularity, so we need the neutronium compressor and the infinity singularity. Ooh, okay. Vibrant bimetal gear, ultimate machine core, crystal matrix ingot, Fortron and time fluid. We got plenty of those. All right, let's make a craft for this. All right, let's see if we could go ahead and make it now. It's this guy. Oh, I need to do the iron gears. I want to set up the craft for it. And there we go. All right, let's try it again. Okay. There's the neutronium compressor, so I'll take a look and see what this requires. I'm waiting for one more craft to come through real quick, which is going to be this guy. Because I want to put this into our world engine. Oh, you could put 16 of these in here. Well, might as well get that crafting then. Okay, we'll let that go. Let's head back up to the top here and see what this is all about. So red matter, duratium, enderium, fortron infused. So this requires quite a bit. So there's 5 on each page. So we need 15 of these in total, pushing in a ton of items. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. So we only need 6 of these to make the infinity singularity. And then once we get the infinite singularity, then we can make the infinite ingot, which requires more antimatter. There's quite a bit that we need to do to make sure that we can make these catalysts. Because to get the infinity ingot, we need 9 of these to make the block. So we need a 9 times this recipe. That is a lot. Okay, so the plan is going to make all 15 of these neutron compressors. And then also I'm going to get the Antimatter Chicken going. Hopefully it won't take too long to get that going, but in the next clip I'll bring you back when we get everything all situated. Alright, and I'm bringing you back right before this finishes. As you can see, we are very close to finally getting the Antimatter Chicken. And then also I set up the neutronium compressors for the singularities that are needed to make the infinity catalyst. Alright, here we go. Very nice. And it just went to our system. Antimatter Chicken has been acquired. Awesome. Good stuff. So now with that, I could actually turn this off so I'm not wasting any more energy. I'm going to make sure this is turned off as well, which it is. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. And let's get this chicken to a level 128. All right, and just like that, with a little bit of time wand, our chicken is now level 128, which means it will produce a stack each process. And I will go ahead and slap it in right here. Look at that. Already coming in nice and quick. Perfect. All right, with that said, I think we could start getting everything situated now. So we need the stable matter, which we need 4 times 9. So stable, let's see, 4 times 9 is 36. So we only need to do one of these and we get 64 of the stable. So let me go ahead and get that started. And then I'm going to pop on right down here just to keep an eye on it. Perfect. And that gets cycled back into our system. So I finally made it to where this is fully automated, as long as I set up, again, the whitelist for the items to go where they need to go. So this one goes into the dropper, and this side goes into the Particle Accelerator, and the final item goes right into this oak drawer, which gets cycled back in. All the items get pushed into this barrel, and it's been working out really well. And I also tested out the speed sensor auto mode, and it's working flawlessly. So this is, by definition, pretty much fully automated. If I didn't have to worry about which one, like which item goes to which, then this would be 100%. I would probably put this at about 95% automated, just because I have to do this part manually for it to be automated. So now that works perfectly, let's go ahead and make sure we have everything else. The Infinity Crystal. So we need to get the Infinity Singularity, and we need 8 of these, which means we need 8 times 9 of these, which means we need 8 times 9 of these as well. So let's see. For the ultimate the ultimate singularity, or the Infinity Singularity, 8 times 9, that's 72. I need to grab the rest out of here. So let me grab those. That's fine. That's fine. I'll grab these anyway, and I'll grab these. So I should be pretty good. So let me go ahead and request 72 of these and start. Well, that was quick. Okay. Perfect. So for the Infinity Catalyst, we're going to need, again, 8 times 9, which is 72. And we are a bit short on the Fortron, which is not a problem, because we could come up over here. The Fortron, we are limited to the tank here. However, this is only a 2x2. I could increase this going all the way up. So let me do that real quick. Is that the top of it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me pull out the tanks here. I made plenty of these fluid tanks. So hopefully this should be able to work once I break out this part of the ceiling, and I will have to remove this part as well. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now that's taken care of. Let me phase through here again. So now we should be okay, because we got 1.2, so yeah, 1200 buckets. So let's try this again. Alright, bringing you guys back in. We are on the final crafts here for the Infinity Catalyst, and there it is. So that gave us 72 catalyst, which in turn we should be able to request 9 of these ingots. So it looks like I need to increase my Molten Ender tank here just by a little bit. Actually, let me go take a look at it. It might just be low. Oh yeah, that thing's low. Let me time wind it real quick. There we go. Perfect. Now it's all full. Let's not fall down. But let's go ahead and create the 9 ingots that we need. Okay, the craft just started. And the craft just finished. Oh, I need to make one more Infinity Singularity because I forgot to put it into my thing here. Hey, there we go. Okay, and the last thing that we need to do is make it a block. There we go. Let's claim our rewards real quick. Let's see, oh. What on earth did they give me like everything in the game? Jeez. Wow. They gave me a bunch of stuff there. I was not expecting that. Wow. Okay. So now that we finished that, let's go speak with Echo of Infinity and let's see what else we got left. Let's go ahead and do the submit. I need to grab the, what are they called? The reactor neutrons out of my system and submit those and assemble. Infinity block. This is the final world engine upgrade needed. So now our world engine is 100% fully upgraded. Trying to see. Okay. So it looks like we need to go back and speak with the Echo of Guidance. So let's head over to see him real quick. Hello, good sir. Searching databank for the last known location for Ascended Echo archives. Archives could be located or cannot be located. System analysis complete. The work has encountered an unexpected error. The final echoes remain unreachable to the system. Consult the Echo of Wormrite, who may have some methods of uncovering traces of the Ascended Echo archives. Let's go ahead and complete that. Okay. Your world engine can now support tier 5 upgrades. Your immense knowledge has granted you the right to join the ranks of the Echoborn. The Chronon Resonator now linked to the Fractured Void, granting access to the final Echoborn who are holding back the collapse of reality, which is Chaos, Affinity, and Radiance. Okay. The work thanks you for preventing the collapse of your dimension. You may now begin your ascension and acquire the tools of rebuild. Oh wait. Require the tools to rebuild your home. Awesome. Let's see. Now what do I need to do? I will claim that. So the Ascension Tier 1 is just getting the Infinity armor and weapons. Prove yourself worthy of the power of creative items. All quests in the chapters must be completed using a task screen. Interesting. Wow. So there's Ascension Tier 1, Ascension Tier 2, Tier 3, which gives us the God of the World, which we have so many things that we got to get. These aren't too bad. That's not too bad either. These are actually pretty easy to get. Wow, the Creative Memory Chip sounds freaking awesome. Gives you access to everything. Creative Toggleable Laser. Okay. Infinity Power Card. So there's quite a bit of stuff here. That's pretty nice. So a lot of this isn't too hard. It's the Infinity Echo or Ingot. The Infinity Ingot is going to be the hardest part. Just because we have to let the rest of the Singularities build up. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I may do one final episode going through the Tier 6 Ascension quest. Just to, you know, get the creative items on here. I won't get all of them, like the stuff for RS and things that I'm not using, but I will get majority of these. Wow, let's go home. But with all that said, we are pretty much done. Minus the creative items that we now have access to building, we are done with this pack. We have all the chickens that we could ever think of. We have everything automated. We have not unlimited power, but we got a good amount of power. And once we get the creative energy cube, I mean, that's pretty much game over. These would become obsolete pretty much. But yeah, no, other than that, we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and end off this episode. I'm going to title this one as the finale, and then I will come back with a true final episode where it will just be nothing but gathering the creative items. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody who supported me through this journey of completing StoneBlock 4. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and until the next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.